Hello, hello. Happy Thursday. Hard to believe that song was made by a group called Anger Music, but there we go. How's everyone doing? Hey, Rhiannon Journey. What's happening, people? Oh, my hair. What's left of it? All right. Game dev. And coffee, I said. Coffee and game dev. That's what we got going on today. Rhiannon, you're so angry. Yeah. Very strange. Hey, Arneo. How's it going? Oh man, is this what I decided to do at the end of yesterday? Was actually make my little bitmask 3D data structure? Oh my god. It would make the next part of this easier. It's not any different from like the buffer 3D, except the T is defined as being a bit field. I guess we're doing this. I guess we do like a restate our assumptions thing first. Past Dave leaving homework for present Dave. I know. Every time I say I'm going to work on something in the evening and then I don't, and then I come back and I'm like, oh my god, I wish I'd passed Dave. It's fine. Past Dave went to a concert last night. It was incredible. Past Dave's voice is a little strained. My ears have stopped ringing though, which is good. So yeah, we're working on Digital Iliad stuff. Working title. We're working on an FTL-like in Godot. We're working on an isometric 2D FTL style game where we are managing like a little spaceship, a little crewman, you know, through the trials and travails. And we're in the middle of that. We're deep in the middle of that. I guess we could run something. We're working on editor tooling. We're working on the stuff to help us make the game more than we've really worked on the game. We have to rethink this block palette thing. Why am I running it from here? Yeah, we're working on our little editor. How's the music? It was so good. So good. Yeah, I almost never go to a concert. Especially like a indoor concert, like at night. Like if I go to a show, it's usually at like a little festival, like an outdoor festival or something. Because I live in a crazy city and we have things like that. All right. So we have our little block editor kind of working again. I kind of like how there's like a weird delay to like updating the blocks. It kind of has a fun visual artifact. But I feel like if we end up actually doing that, we'd want to have more control over it and have it be random things. But yeah, the performance for this is pretty reasonable now. We're only going to make it better. The way we're making it acceptable is we are introducing delays, which is why you see like things update a little slowly. And it's so the rendering is like super responsive. Why are the corner piece calculations just totally wrong? Those little corner bits at the end there. Not good. Got to take another look at those. I don't want to do that right now, though. What I want to do right now is improve the data structure that we're using to track things like this, like whether there is a hull in this block. Look at that. I can just trim that extra mistake there so easily. Put a roof on it here. So we need the cutaway system. We need to be able to cut away into this room that I just made. That's fun to do. We need a bunch of stuff, but we're starting with a bitmask 3D construct. Rhiannon, you can do like one quote-unquote real concert a year. Doesn't include little shows in your little town. Yeah. No, this was my big one. This was an artist that is beloved to me. And I've never seen her live, and she dropped an album last year and is doing a tour, and I got to go see her. Core memories. Apparently the Slay the Spire 2 trailer is happening like right now. Ooh, right now? Well, everyone who's watching this, stop. Go watch the Slay the Spire 2 trailer. I thought a Slay the Spire 2 trailer had already happened. It was probably like a teaser. All right, so we're going to start by just copying this out of whole cloth. I think what we're going to do is make the span in... maybe I don't want to do that. I was thinking about making the span inaccessible, but then copying becomes a little weird. I don't want to do that. You know, maybe I do. Maybe we do. All right, let's import everything we need to import. I really don't like doing split code stuff like this. I see why some people have like wide monitors. I like vertical monitors, but you don't get to see my vertical monitor. My vertical monitor is busy. Otherwise, I would be doing this like that. So where are the rest of these errors? Here? Yeah, that makes sense. Do that. Do that. And this needs to be bitmask 3D read only, which doesn't exist yet, which is fine. So the thing we're making is going to act like a buffer 3D, but the trick of it is that it's actually a buffer 2D under the hood, with the third dimension being represented by the bit field itself. And that's why this is kind of weird, but it's going to be nice. It's going to be nice. This is one of my least favorite things to do, but also one of my most favorite things to do, which is to like make my own little helper struct or thing. It's so annoying because I actually have to like think things through, but it's so nice when you actually have it. It's done. I don't like thinking things through. I just like trying stuff. Hey, Nix, thanks for the hydrate. How's it going? Happy Thursday. Enjoying the last of my coffee here. Still got a bit left. It's very good. Very good today. I guess I should make this thing. Like read-only ref struct. Unmanaged I bit field. Because yeah, we also want to start moving away from having to declare like a hard capacity for stuff. We want an I bit field that can be as small or as large as it needs to be. That's another thing we want to do here. Makes me wonder how I'm going to get this data to the compute shader. No, it doesn't. It doesn't actually make me think that. We'll encode it in the bytes. And then we'll do some fancy stuff. Slay the Spire 2 hitting early access on March 5th. Ooh. 2 weeks. There's co-op. What, in the early access version? That's cool. That's pretty cool. That is not a game I'm going to play in early access. That's a game I'm going to wait for. There's some games I like playing in early access, and there are some games I do not. And I think that is on my list of games I do not want to play in early access. Because I just want to binge that game. This song is weird. Aerial Yodel Mood A. Yeah, okay. Maybe not this one. Here we go. 4:04 a.m. That sounds more like it. Nix, you figured out your morphing problem in your Project Zomboid mod yesterday. Now you're struggling with synchronizing the custom dynamic data between players and multiplayer. Oh, man. Doing like network programming over here. Arneo, you're not going to be able to wait. You've had the Steam wallet money ready for that for like 4 months now. Oh, man. No, I'm all for it. Slay the Spire 2, Mega Crit. We love that. Mega Crit is great. They very famously ported their game from Unity to Godot. They said it took like a month. So, yeah. All the success to the Mega Crit team. Which I think is a duo, unless they've grown since the original Slay the Spire. Kind of a duo, like subset games. Dev duo, that's cool. I wish I had a co-dev like that. I like solo dev. I don't know if I could get along with a co-dev. They would need to be like diametrically opposed to me. Like I would need them to be like an artist kind of person. But then I wouldn't get to do the pixel art. So yeah, I don't know what I would do in that kind of a situation.
Yo.
All right. So what do we want to do first? Do we want to lock down the span, or do we want to actually make this thing work the way it should work? We probably should make it work the way it should work. So here's the trick. The Bitmask 3Ds are going to actually use iBuffer 2D components, and then so their unique thing is going to be managing that. That's going to be their trick. So we're going to substitute this with an iBuffer 2D component. So we're going to make an AABB. We're going to do it using, we're going to say new, whatever. We'll say new AABB. Rhiannon, you're going to hold off as well. You're doing the same with Subnautica 2. You want to go into the full experience as unspoiled as possible. Subnautica 2, I am so torn on. I feel really bad for everything that's happened to like Charlie Cleveland and like that whole team. From their publisher, what is it, Krafton or something, one of like the huge mega publishers. That crazy feud. It's one of those things where it's like, I don't want to give them money, but I really want to play Subnautica 2. Like, I think Subnautica 2 is something I will play when it hits Game Pass. But Subnautica 1, no 1, just Subnautica is... It's got to be in my, like, short list of favorite games ever. Like, games that I remember. Like disappearing into Subnautica the first time is such an incredible experience that you never get to have that again. I mean, even when you play it for a second time. The wonder, the mystery. I'm terrified of the ocean, but man, that is... Subnautica. Below Zero didn't really do it. It was fun. There was a lot of improvements in that, but yeah. So I think to an extent, Subnautica 2 won't be even able to reach that height. I think it's impossible for me, but man, I would love for it too. You're just gonna ship it when Subnautica comes out? Yeah, that's really good.
Your logic was impeccable, Captain.
Hey, Remus, what's up? You're also terrified of the ocean. Yeah. I like to be, I insist on living near the ocean nowadays for a lot of reasons. Like, climate's great. The pollen is much more manageable for me. A lot of great reasons to live like within sight of the ocean for me. But yeah, I ain't going out there. Couldn't get me out there. All right, so we're making a access line bounding box using a combination of information. We're gonna use the iBuffer 2D component. What does an iBit field guarantee to give us? Just a length. That doesn't seem right. I guess we could just do a size of. We have to start making guarantees about what an iBit field offers. We aren't doing that yet, but we are going to need to. We're going to need to like handle this with a little more discipline. You always think below 0 with Subnautica 2. I know they go out of their way to tell us that was not Subnautica 2. Which I get it. The above ground stuff was fun. But yeah, I think of it way more as like DLC or an expansion or something like that, because it didn't feel like a true sequel. I have a new save for Subnautica, but like I can't play it again. I don't know. I started playing it and I started like getting ready to like head into the ship, and I like still remembered where everything was, and I was like, maybe I have to wait. I either have to wait longer, or hopefully my memory will degrade. So we want to know. So we get our AABB from our iBuffer component. We get it from the buffer 3D component. We say buffer 3D component dot rect dot minimum, and then we also offer we offer unsafe size of T. This returns the size in bytes, right? Right? Am I crazy? Or does it return the size in bits? Oh, no, size in bytes of a value T. Okay. So do I want to do this here, or do I want to do this somewhere else? Actually, length is exactly the field I want, huh? Yeah, so I can just say t.length, right? Oh, no, it needs to be... Oh, it is static. No, it can't be t. Oh, can I require this? Can I say where t... No, I can't. Oh, no, it's guaranteed to be the same t. So, hold on. Why can't I do this? I'm trying to use it right now, man. We offer tea. Is it frozen tea that we offer in bites? Oh my god, Nyx. Killing me. Rhiannon, you took a rare lunch break today. You continue to work on your animation tree. You're finally getting the hang of it, you think? Maybe someday you'll figure out how to get a screen recording without stuttering. Yeah, that'd be cool to see. All right, why do I think this is a problem? Or not why do I think, why am I running into an issue here utilizing something like this? I'm not a huge interface implementer. I'm trying to be better. I have a lot of different structs that like follow an informal rule that it would be nice to like formalize with something like an interface. And in some cases we like have to do it this way because we have some weird generic stuff going on, but in this case, it should be like kind of easy. Maybe I should. Maybe it is just easier to get unsafe size of T here. I really was like, oh, it'd be nice to be able to get the length of this thing. Public interface ibit field T. Should the ibit field know what it's made of? No, it shouldn't. We should just know that we're getting one of these. And we should be able to do this. Cannot resolve symbol length. T.length. T is an unmanaged ibit field. Should it be a function? I wanted it to be a property. I don't need to say abstract static, right? No, that doesn't make sense. Is length a property on the instance of T type? Length should be a... Yeah, maybe that's the problem. Maybe the static is not right.
Maximum warp.
It's supposed to be like this. It's the problem that I tried to make it static. Still doesn't know what this is. Hey, no Joel, how's it going? This seems like the right way to do it. Just listening to declare a static property here. Doesn't span the instance of T, so you would call span.length. I don't think so. I have a T, so a bitmask. So the bitmask 3D read-only is made of T, where T is an unmanaged ibit field. There is a span of these T's, but what I want to know is what the length of T is, because it forms the third dimension of our ibuffer 2D component. But I don't understand why it can't see this. You're using the right namespace. You don't seem to have any issues with this. No, I don't want the size of the buffer 3D component either. Its length would return the length of this span if I asked it. Actually, it would return the... Well, for one thing, this needs to say 2D component. It would return the area of the rect. That's what it would return. Ignore you. No, yeah. Hey, you know as much as me. All right, let's try to figure this out. Give me C# interfaces here. Show me the interfaces. Contains definitions of a group of related functionalities a non-abstract class or struct must implement. An interface can define static methods. Static methods. An interface can define a default implementation for members. An interface cannot declare instance data, such as fields, automatically implemented properties, or property-like events. Okay. So it sounds like I should make length like a method and not a property, maybe? I don't know. Interfaces can contain instance methods, properties, blah, 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 blah. Contain static constructors that aren't fields, can be static, abstract. Is that maybe what I need? Is like the static abstract method? I thought I tried to do that. Interface members are public by default. Okay, that's good to know. Okay. Okay, if I make this a function, okay, now it sees it. But I should reconnect these. Okay, I think this will work. Just gotta make a vector 3i here. Okay, yeah, I think this works. So now we can specify the length of t as the third dimension of this axis-aligned bounding box. And that is what we need to do to be able to fake it. Read how it had to be a method? Yeah, I don't understand. I mean, I think it said something that explained why. It said something up here that made me think that was the case. So I think it's the fact that we want it to be static. I think if we didn't need, I think if it wasn't static, it'd be fine. But this is like not a property of an instance. It's a property of the type. Of the particular type, like bitfield 64, or bitfield 32, whatever. I think that was the problem. It doesn't say anything here about static properties or whatever. It makes sense. I mean, I don't know. It's a constraint I can accommodate. I don't know how any of this works. Okie doke. I think that's all we needed there. make that happen. We're already past a bounding box. We don't need to do anything. Okay, and then this is going to be the tricky part here. So some people depend on this AABB. Some stuff internally we can be a little more, scrutinize things a little more, because we actually need to, oh no, it's this buffer 2D component. This is the thing that knows. The way I've structured these are so weird. Like, the thing that wraps the data is this read-only ref struct, but the component that sits in the chunk and is associated with the entity is this 2D, this iBuffer component. It, like, kind of works. This association. It's a little awkward sometimes. Although that's fine. So honestly, most of this can stay the same. What needs to change are so things like get. This stuff is not going to return the T. It's almost never going to do that. Except in, well, no, here's the thing. We want the implementation to be kind of clever. Like, we want to be aware of how this data is stored, and when possible, if we can iterate along the Z, that's like the best thing we can do. Like, within the tightest loop, so that we're reading through each bit field and then going on to the next bit field. That would be neat. I don't really want to return the whole type, like the whole underlying field, really. But sometimes I do, so that's the thing. So I have to decide, like, when do we actually want to return the underlying field for easier iteration, and when do we want to, like, just give them the individual flag back? Maybe I leave all this stuff like this, and then we use, like, a get flag or something. I don't know. Maybe we set all of this and then we have a get field, and that lets us get the whole field. It's probably what I would do. Have like a different function that behaves kind of, that gives us that underlying field, and then assume that what we want is we really just want to check for a single flag. So what we're doing at the moment is we're doing like a get, and then we're doing a has, usually. We're doing it in like 2 steps now. We're usually getting the field and then asking the field if that specific flag is set. And that's good if we're iterating through them linearly. If we're iterating through them randomly, it doesn't really matter. In which case I would kind of want just get the individual value. So where are we doing this most often and most noticeably? Is it like when we're setting the block types? Yeah, it is. Okay. That stuff happening here. Yeah, so here we're going through X and then through Y, and then for each of these XYs we're going through the Z. And so right now this is a buffer 2D read only of a bit field 64, and that's not what we want. And in fact, well, do we actually want this part here? I don't want this. I don't think. I actually don't think I want this here. Well, we weren't doing this too smartly anyway, were we? And you know, actually, if we actually shove this stuff down into like a shit compute shader or whatever, this isn't gonna matter. That specific organization is not gonna matter. So yeah, right now we're saying blockholes.get xy.hasz. I want to not do this. I kind of want to use some like, I mean, I like set and get. So I guess set and get is fine. I was thinking about calling it something else. So we're going to do, I'm actually thinking about taking this T away here. Can we do that? Will this work? So then here we have a T. How do I do? Can I say this? Where T is... So I can't specify this thing in here. I could specify it in this component. Well, this is the wrong component. This needs to be a buffer 2D component. Oh, the span needs to know what its type is. Okay. Right. I'm trying to avoid us getting pigeonholed into like declaring in advance like exactly the capacity of the thing. So like here, instead of buffer 2D read only, this needs to be like, this needs to say like bit mask 3D read only T where T is unmanaged ibit field. Can I say that? I have to also put the T here. Or would it be... Do I actually need to know this? Can I just say this? No, that won't work. It's valid unmanaged type. Yeah, it has to be a T parameter. Okay. Okay, let's do this. This should work for us. Let's see how this has to change to accommodate that then. So what we want here is we want get or default. Yeah, but it can't be a T. So we need to... I guess that's a good argument for leaving the span accessible and then just changing all of these functions, the getters and setters and stuff. And then you just have an option of, if you're like, I know the data that I'm reading, I know that I want to just get the field and then iterate through the field and do that once instead of doing it bit by bit, then we can interact with the span directly and do that. Otherwise, we should probably move this over to just, you just get a value back like it's a bit flag. What's the value? So I really just need to fix this get or default. So we'll say getter default, we'll say contains coords. If it does, we'll say span get index coords.xy dot has. Whoa. What can I say dot has? Oh, is it because a bit field doesn't declare a has? I don't need to say public. Bool has int index bool has, I guess it's just the index, or it could be bool has oh, you know what, not declaring this with a type, it's a little weird, because then it means, you know, I'm not going to worry right now about what happens when you have, like, unaligned bit fields and you try to compare them. But I kind of want you to be able to do something like this. Although I don't really want to box it into an interface. I want to specify a T, where T is an ibit field. You know what? We're not going to do that yet. We're not going to worry about that because we currently don't need that. We don't need that functionality. If we don't need the functionality, we are not going to worry about it. That is how you get bogged down. Like, deeply bogged down. Alright, why is this a problem? Simplify conditional ternary expression. If contains coords, you return span get index dot oh yeah, we can just, oh wait, hold on, get or default contains. How does it think this can be simplified? And oh. Oh, that's a good point. Although this is not a safe check, so I don't want to do that. Will that actually be okay? Like, will it always do the containment check first and then never do the, you know what, we're gonna, it's what Ryder wants us to do, and we're just gonna do what Ryder wants us to do, you know? Sometimes. Alright, so if we get an index, that's gonna be wrong a lot. But I don't care. So we actually can't take an index for the... Oh, no, we can. So the index would need to be the index of the entire thing. So this one's going to be weird. So if we ask for getter default index, it's going to say length. What is length? That's based on the volume. Okay. Hey, ride or die. Yeah, exactly. Exactly. No, Joel. How's it going? All right, so what I should do is I should do like, so index is less than length and index is greater than or equal to 0, sure. See, here I would say span index divided by, ooh. I could say t dot length. It's kind of crazy. Index divided. Well, this is 3-dimensional. I can't actually do that. I am not going to support this, I don't think. Although I kind of do need to be able to do that. Well, maybe not. I'm going to not support indexed stuff here. We're actually going to make getIndex a private function, I think. Although maybe not. Oh, we're just passing along the AABB.getIndex? Yeah, then I'm not going to do that. If that's what you want, you can do that. Similarly, you can do that with this as well. We're going to simplify this a little. We're going to have this be a get field. A get bit field. Span. So we need to get index. We need to get index based on the x divided by the y. We're going to get rid of all this junk too. So the span. Let's look at the bounding box real quick. Bounding box is doing a lot of the work here. So when I ask it to get the index, it does an argument out of range check, and it gives us an internal coordinate, and then it does x plus y times size dot x plus internal coordinates dot z times. Oh no. So this assumes a totally different organization. This assumes that the x is in the tightest part of the loop in terms of where it's being stored instead of the z. Oh, okay. That makes sense. That's how buffers are stored. We like go through the x, then the y, then the z. But the bit mask is stored very differently. So we actually have to define things like the get index and stuff differently. do here is we could do a value. We could say a value is true, we'll set, otherwise we will set chords t value, set bool. Actually, we don't want set value, we just want that. We just want to say set or clear. Why won't this work? Oh man, maybe I could have left get and all that stuff to be a little more accessible. This won't work though for some reason. Why can't I do this? This is a call. It's multiple calls. If I talk about this differently, is it because I'm doing this as like a? Actually, don't quite know how to do a setter. Let's see, C# ternary operator in setter. No, but it's just setting the thing. So it would be a call. Okay, it's because I'm not assigning anything. It's upset. I'll just do it like this for now, maybe. Maybe I don't need a get or default. So I also want to protect the set from out of bounds access too. So what if instead, here, let's look at this because this is actually more useful. This is the old one, or this is how a regular one works. right, so now we need a way to access the span that is safe based on these coordinates. So what we need to do is we need to say, I kind of want this thing to remember its rectangle. You know what? Maybe we're going to store both. Maybe we store the rect and the AABB is actually just this. Actually, we probably can store this once and not have to do it again. I was thinking about having it be on demand, but there's no reason to do that. It's easier if we just hold on to that. Okay, so now what we can do is we can have an index, a get index. We can say span. We can say rect dot get index. We can say coords dot xy. We can say has coords dot z. And that is it. All right, all right. All right, we're getting somewhere. Hey, Magoo. Thank you for the sub. 6 months on a 6-month streak. Hard to believe it's already been 6 months since you first joined us. What do we do? What do we do here? We're not saying has. We're saying... Okay, here's the thing. Do I want to... I'm not going to do any bounds checking. I'm going to say dot set. Oh. So... we need to implement a set. So we got a has... Do I want to specify that this takes certain... No, I don't want to spec... Yeah, I do. Oh, this is buffer 3D. So clear. Should we have like an index of? No, because index of doesn't get us anything terribly useful. I don't know why I call this get index. I guess it's because I have a get coords. Man, I can't wait till we're back to doing some more visual stuff. Clear, span. No, we don't want has. We want clear. say dot clear. Oh. This is stupid. This actually is more complicated than I'm giving it credit for. I need to actually reassign the thing. In which case means I should probably get the index. Hey, Nanigans, how's it going? I'm gonna collapse this side. I really don't like the unsplit or the split view. Why did it reverse all of the things in my tab? Weird. Interesting choice. This is not the one I've been working on. Here we go. How's it going? How's it going, Nanigans? We're over here making our little bit mask volume. Oh, set needs to return. Oh. So here's the thing. We do need to say what the T is. Oh, this is stupid. How is this supposed to work? Can't be ibit field T because the thing we're making is an ibit field, and it would be so stupid if you had to tell the thing what you were. That seems dumb. Hey, Sapphire. Just a quick flyby. No worries. Not too bad. How's the rendering going? The rendering's fine. There's stuff that's slow. But we know it's slow because it's running on a background thread. And so we're still kind of just preparing the data to hopefully push some of this prep work down into a compute shader and hopefully get it quicker so the rendering is smoother. I'm glad we're testing with the editor because the editor is like the worst case scenario for performance. Because like the editor is when you might like make these enormous compartments out of nothing and like you can't optimize it yet or anything. You can't occlude the rendering or anything. Like it's a really great test of like what our performance limits are. How are you doing? Oh, you already told me, not too bad. Yeah, I see your updates in the Discord. You're looking good. You're making your editor quicker than I am, which is a problem. Nix, there's a guy on YouTube who's making perpetual soup. He's on day 301. Perpetual soup, for those who don't know, is a type of soup that never stops boiling, making it so that the ingredients and the broth itself never spoils. You add in new ingredients daily, and you take food out as well, keeping it going. That's pretty cool. That's how I imagine like a little I think of like a classic scene of like a hearth and a big pot over the hearth all day with a stew in it. Sounds old school. All right, I think my coffee died. I took a sip of it and I was like, maybe it's still alive. It is old school, yeah. The never letting it burn out thing is interesting. Thanks for the hydrate, Nix. I'll switch to water, I guess. I've got a vacation starting tomorrow after work. Very excited. Driving out with some friends tomorrow night out of town. And just hang out. Do nothing. Hang out at a little seaside town. Just play some board games. Watch some movies. Chill out for the weekend. It's going to be nice. Gotta resuscitate that coffee? No. Coffees never go in the microwave. It's a war crime. It sounds exciting. I'm hoping it's not going to be exciting. What was exciting was last night, this concert I went to. That was exciting. I ended up getting the best seats in the house. It was incredible. Through a long and complicated story. But, oh man. It was so good. My voice is a little gone still. So good. Drink it cold. Iced coffee is fine, Nix. Maybe not in February, but I don't have a problem. I do like me some cold brew. I like cold brew. I don't like regular iced coffee. Call me a snob. All right, so here's my problem. We have this void set. The problem is that the iBit field set. How am I going to do this? Oh, this is easy to do, actually. It's going to be span equals this. And, all right, we're going to bit field this. And oh, can we actually do this? Can we take advantage of the implicit operator of that? No, we cannot. We can't actually. Ugh. Okay. It needs to return itself, which is annoying. How are we going to do this? Oh, you know what? Is this where like the global functions like help? Is this where the bit utility functions would actually maybe be kind of nice, where I could say this span equals, and I could say like bit.set, and I could pass it the field, the current field, and the index that we want to set. Is that maybe the cleaner way to do this? Because then I can say bit.set, and this can be a t, where t is an unmanaged ibit field. Yeah, okay. Maybe that's the part of this that I was missing. Because that's how we used to do our bit field stuff, is we had like a utility class for it. And maybe that is an easier thing to do. Although you know your t. Oh, maybe there's something else we can do with this. In which case, this interface isn't going to actually be that useful for much. Hey, Corolla, how's it going? Hey, Amanda. Have I played Factorio? Yes, for a few hundred hours, though I haven't beaten it. Factorio is good. How are you doing? It's been a minute. Sorry, I've been boggling my mind with this stuff about how I want to handle these bitwise things. Can we get an emote for a Sapphire flyby? Maybe someday. Nix. Another thing, interesting thing about perpetual soups, due to the broth never going away, is you add in more and more water, the broth will get more and more darker as the days roll by, intensifying the taste of the broth. Yeah, no, a soup like that sounds crazy. All right, so this is maybe what I'm thinking of. This is maybe what I'm thinking about. So what if we go down here? Into the bit folder, we make our bit class. Public static set public static t set t t value int index. And this would be do I have to say where T is this thing? T is an unmanaged ibit field. And so what we're going to do here I'm going to say value equals. All right, so how are we going to make this happen? I guess this is the same problem, just slightly moved around. But that's how you solve a problem. You look at it one way, it doesn't make sense. You look at it another way. It's like how dogs tilt their heads when they're looking at something they don't understand, trying to get their brain to recognize it. All right, so what I want to do is I want to say bit.set. Here's the bit field. Here's the index that I want to set. I think that's better. Although I don't really want to say t set t where t is a bit field. That's actually not how I want to do it. You know what we probably should do? Okay, so I think a bit field either needs to know it's t, like what type it's made of. Or something. There's something I'm missing in my implementation of this because life was just so easy when I had just everything was just this bit field 64. Had all these great uses of it. So here when we do like a set index, we do flags or. So maybe that's the trick. Maybe I actually don't need to know that much about it and I can try to just do. I would have to define how these operators work, huh? So can I say like value or... Oh, I need to know the size. The size. Would it maybe be better to just overload this for every bit field we support? Is that crazy? Is that crazy? Because I can't just say like one bit shifted index. Yeah, it's not going to like this. Cannot apply operator to type T and int. All right, let's see if we can manage this. This could also help us with handling misaligned bit fields. Maybe. So we need to add some more stuff to the bit field. Whoa. Okay, I can't say that. Length is not implemented, huh? That's weird. Whoa. Static int length. Wait, was I not? I have a length. Oh, it's a length property. Make it a method. There you go. So yeah, the clear. So all these functions actually want to return a value. Oh, I really don't want this to be I really don't want this to be like a static function. Oh, maybe I do. Maybe it's fine. Maybe we don't care. You're off into the kitchen. Make a soup next. All right. So we got our little bit field. We were trying to do it this way. Problem with doing it this way is we need to know some stuff. I would like to define this once and then have it just work for any bit field. But if that's how it works, then we could just define this in the bit field, right? Like, so if this void set, so how do I say, this doesn't avoid boxing, right? If I say I return a bit field, what I want to do is I want to say I want to return a type that is a bit field. I want to return a type. But if I do that, then I have to do this whole bit field T thing, which I guess is not the worst. Like, is this that bad where I say I bit field T, I enumerable int, where T is unmanaged? But the thing is, T is an I-bit field. Declared as covariant. What does that mean? I-bit field out T. What the heck does this mean? The heck kind of advanced interface thing is this? Out T. Okay. T set. Or T is on. This isn't really what I want. I want to return a value here. I guess maybe what we can do. What can we do for this? We're just trying to implement simple, like, operators here, but we want them to, we actually don't need them to, like, work across different fields yet. Like, I don't care about that. But I don't want to have to strictly declare that we're using a bit field 64. I mean, maybe I should, just so we can move on from this thing. But, like, part of what I'm trying to do is, like, lay the groundwork to, like, be able to operate on smaller constructions when possible. But maybe I just don't care about that right now. Maybe this is just too much work. for right now, considering from practical standpoint, we really just need the bit field 64. Like everything will just be bit field 64s for now. I don't know. Like we could make it work with this. We wouldn't really care. Maybe this is something I need to think about more, and we should just go with the flow here. And then I can just hard code these bit mask things to just be locked to a bit field 64 for now. I just want them to be. I want to have this flexibility. I really want this flexibility. Oh, sorry, bumped the mic. Trying to scratch my nose here. So what I want to do here is I want to get a value out of this thing, and then I want to set the value at this index. Oh, you know what I could do? Maybe this is set T. Maybe we just say this. Does that help? No, that doesn't help. This problem isn't there, it's here. Here, let's try this. Let's say T. Well, let's just say equals span dot set. Oh, Lord. Set awards dot Z. And let's go. Well, we might not need this part. Actually, it's not public void T. Yeah, it is public void T. So here we can have span.set. Go over here to our bit field. Our bit field. We have our set function. So this is where I'm like, now how do I say what I'm returning? Which is why I don't think I want to do it this way. I guess I don't want to do it this way. So I don't know how to tell it that I'm going to return the value that this consists of. I don't know how to do that. So we're going to try to do it this way. So we've got seal class bit, we've got static T, set T. T is an unmanaged ibit field. So now we just have to manage the inner. So what I need to do is I need to manage this operator. How do we do that currently? So we have this set of these. I'm going to look at this again. Show me more stuff about interfaces. Oh, can I do it this way then? Can I say, instead of static, can I just say static int length get? Is this acceptable? Can't tell if this worked. I think it did. I think the auto property, I should have made it an auto property, and that was my mistake. I think that works. But again, I'm not sure how to add these operators. Because I don't want to return the bit field. C#, avoiding boxing interfaces. I want to avoid boxing. I know enough to know that. And generic methods make it really easy to, like, avoid that. I just need to do it right. Yeah, I always need to have the T where T is an implementation of I. So maybe I do... You know what? Probably a mistake that I'm using IEnumerable. Oh, I'm not trying to IEnumerable the interface. Right. Ref struct types can't be boxed, so that's good. So the span is good. There's a good article, I think I've read this before, about avoiding boxing. Avoid struct boxing. That seems good. We're going to look through this for a minute. I'm sure this is, again, deeply boring. Imagine what our world's going to be like when we can just make our ships. We can just build our ships. They're going to be so beautiful. And we'll have other problems. We'll be like, I can't get this door to open. It's like a Star Trek blooper over here. Every time the character gets to the door doesn't auto-open. Like, I can't wait till we get down to some of those. That's part of the reason we're spending so much time on these foundations. Because it's going to impact the quality of everything else we do on top of it. And not just the quality, but like what is even possible, right? Yeah, so here's our problem. When you're dealing with classes, you don't have a problem with interface boxing really as much. But when it's a struct, if you have something, if you just provide the interface, the IFU, as the thing, then it's going to expect the interface object, which we don't want. We don't want to do that. So instead we have like this bar T parameter, T bar parameter where T is IFU. I guess there's no way to get around this. But that does kind of indicate to me that what we do want is some kind of generic functionality. So the key part about this is using it as a constraint, and constraints use opcodes.constrained-field. I wonder where this opens. Oh, this is too complicated. Look at all this. Okay, but this actually explains what's like happening. Cool. I might read this later. I don't know a lot about this stuff, but it's kind of cool to learn a little about what's going on under the hood. Overriding objects class methods. Even if the bar parameter stays a value type when it's a struct, if inside our method we use methods of the object class, it'll have to get boxed. So we don't want to do those. We want to override those methods. Yeah, we do that. We generally make sure that this sort of thing is done. Okay, for big objects, we would want to pass by ref. I don't think we need to do that because what we're talking about is very small. Did Musk actually say that next? So the problem that this represents for us is in these like operator overloads where we want to like define the operator behavior. Oh, I did say that. I don't even know what I was talking about. This person has a lot of good articles. I should read more of their stuff. It's all Unity development stuff, but they talk about C# a lot, which helps. Yeah, so how do we do this block without doing something like saying public static bit fields or ibit field? It would need to be public static T operator and T left, right? Where T is like an ibit field. That's what we would need to implement here. I don't know how to do that though. I mean, I could implement it. Can I implement it at a lower level? I don't think so. I want to learn this. I want to learn what's going on here. And how to get around this. I'm just not quite sure how. Same thing with the implicit operators. How do I define this block of stuff for my interface? What doesn't make sense to me is to do like this ibit field T. I know I've said that before, but it doesn't make sense to me to include this in the definition because like that feels circular to me because then the bit field thing here is going to be like bit field 64, ibit field T, bit field 64. I guess that's okay. It feels wrong to do this. Like, this feels dumb. Like, why do I have to do this? But do I? Does that just make it work? Now if I do this, where T is an unmanaged, like, does that just make it happen? And so now instead of this function, I could move this out of this thing to here. And then I can say, like, T set T value, T where, well, we already know what T is. And then so, yeah, I guess this is just how we do this. This feels wrong to me, but the compiler seems to think this is how this is done. So I'm going to start doing that. So we're going to say, we're going to similarly do something like this. I don't know if I want to do all of this, but maybe let's see about this. So it's not going to be that. It's going to be like T T. I don't know why this part's here. We just want to confirm that we support this sort of thing, right? Is this wrong? Method must have a return type. Is that not what this is? Okay, so I don't think we need to do that one. For these, can we just do this like this? Again, we don't actually define what happens. We just need to define that this is supported. Can we not do this either? Oh, it's abstract. What's the order for this? Sort my modifiers. And so I don't need to say public because it presumes that this is all public, right? Hey, I'm Darius. He's using Java Hipster Edition. Yeah, C#'s weird. And maybe it wasn't what you were expecting when you hopped in here. Someone's like, I'm doing a Godot stream. So why? So user-defined conversion interface must convert into or from a type. Hold on. What does this say? Into or from a type parameter on the enclosing type constrained to the enclosing type. Huh? So this is the part where I'm like, and then what does covariant do? What is that? We're learning about interfaces and we're struggling. Oh, we also don't want this one. So why is this a problem? I have implemented this in derived types. So do I not need to specify that I can do this sort of thing? Let me do the rest of these and see what this thing complains about. Is this at least okay with this? No, it's not. At least one parameter must be di bit field t. Oh. Yeah, see, this is where I don't understand. I just want you to know that if you have a bit field, you can do these operators. Maybe I'm overcomplicating this. Maybe I don't understand. Maybe it's enough that I can just say this. And then if I implement it, it won't box. See, this is what I want to avoid. This, to me, seeing something like this tells me that we're boxing something. I just don't understand how this works. How come you don't use GDScript or you use teasing C#? Yes. We do use GDScript for some stuff, but I'm trying to work around this. You'd love to chat about Factorio later, especially if you played, but for now you'll be alright. No, no worries. I have played. Played quite a bit of Factorio. Anytime. Zach and I are still hanging out, usually in Tuesday nights in the Discord. So how do I specify that we can do things like this then? How can I know that this is an option? Or is that just not possible? This is where I don't understand. I know I say that a lot, but it's true. Do I not even need to do this? Can I just be like, we do this? Yeah, I don't know how this works. Non-abstract. Oh, does it need to be abstract? Is that my problem? That's probably my problem. Nope. So now we have this other problem. One of the parameters of a binary operator must be the containing type or its type parameter constrained to it. Uh-huh. I don't know how this method is. You know what? We're going to forget about this. This is like something I want to solve in the long term, but we can actually manage without. I'm going to keep iBit field around, but I like, no, what I'm doing. But we're just going to forget about trying to implement this right now. I don't know. I don't know how this is supposed to go. I have to do a lot more research about how to achieve the thing that I want to achieve. Because I've done this sort of thing, well, I guess I didn't totally with iComponents. I did something similar with iComponent, but iComponent is like super dumb and doesn't make a lot of guarantees. It only has one thing, which is like, go come get your flag. Public static abstract component flag. Yeah, that's like all it is like an auto property. And like, I guess this should be too. So like this is fine. This is like all I have, and I don't know how to do more with that. So we're just going to hard code bitmask 3D read-onlys to bitfield 64s. Now that's what we're gonna do. That's how we're gonna manage this. How does it hide bitfield 64? What does that mean? Type parameter has the same name as a type parameter from the outer type. Does it? Why is this green? Can this not be a type parameter the way I'm thinking about it? Oh, well, let's get rid of that. See if that helps. Oh, I can't do it this way either, huh? Man, what a boondoggle. Got myself into. Just because I want to write a thing like our buffer 2D read write, I want like a bitmask version of it where I can do like these volumetric things. And then hide the underlying implementation. But man, it's making it hard. Really doesn't want me to do this. But this is game dev. So, you know. So we got our public read-only record struct bitfield 64. And then we've got our bitmask. Oh, you know what? I don't need to do this, do I? Can I just get rid of that? Yeah, I'm stupid. Get rid of that. Just hard-coded in here as the span. And then same thing with the iBuffer 2D component. That's also going to be hard-coded to a bit field. And then we'll just say... So how do I do this then? Bitfield 64.length, I guess. Property, not a... There we go. Okay. So this will work. We're back on track. Forget generics. Just gonna hard code it all to the bitfield 64. It'll be a little wasteful, but it'll still be... That's under, or that is at the minimum, the maximum minimum guaranteed size. Man, I hate saying stuff like that. All right, everything is hard coded. So let's keep that up. And hopefully eventually we can substitute this. Oh, we don't need to do like this though. However, we don't actually want it to work like this. I don't think. I want this to just be, this is supposed to just be a window into the bitmap. Should I call this bitmap instead of bitmask? there a difference in really what those two things mean? In C#, a bitmap is typically an object used to work with image data defined by pixel information, while a bit mask is an integer value used with bitwise operators to manage individual Boolean flags efficiently within a single variable. Okay, yeah, it's more like that. Then what's the difference between a bit mask and a bit field? Let's go back to where we're comfortable, which is naming. Okay, bit fields is like not really a term in C#. It's a language feature in C and C++ where you define struct members with specific bit widths. I don't know what a bit width is, but I guess that's kind of like what I'm doing here. So for us, a bit field is like a specific row of like, here are all your bit fields in a row. Or they don't have to be in a row, but they're just, here are all your bit fields. And then our bit mask is this. It's almost like a bitmap though, because it's 2D. We'll keep it. We'll keep calling it bitmask 3D read only. Who cares? It's really what it is. It's a bit masking of this underlying data, and it's really just yes or no, little flags set. So we're just gonna keep doing this. Nanigans, yeah, bitmap's an image. Oh yeah, it's an image format. Classic unoptimized Windows 95 default image format. I was thinking of it as like a mapped structure, like a hash map. I was thinking like, oh, a bitmap. Not that that makes sense, but that's like in my head. I didn't even think about the image format. All right, so I like using mask for this. I like continuing to call this a field because it's not something we really interact with anywhere else. So you're IE0. Are you no longer IEnumerable for int? Yeah, you need to be. IEnumerable for int. Why do I accept a constructor here with a ulong value? Yeah, let's switch it to that. Oh, it's so that this works, huh? You can get a bit field value out of a ulong though. Oh, I see. It's totally circular if I do it that way. If I do it this way, I don't really want to expose this. Yeah, whatever. I guess you can't really make a bit. I guess this doesn't make a lot of sense. Get rid of that. Hey, Jacob. What's up? Nix, you think you fixed your mod? The map sync works now? Nice, nice. Alright. Sorry for that crazy diversion that we took. I think that's an important thing to do in game dev, especially solo game dev, is like you try something, it's like you gotta be curious enough to try. But if it looks like you're not getting anywhere, just change direction. Just, if it's not absolutely needed right now, maybe it's not needed. Alright, so we're gonna operate directly on Bitfield 64, which is nice because Bitfield 64 has a lot of these helper functions, which should make managing this sort of thing a lot easier. And in fact, this doesn't actually have to have much functionality at all. All it has to do is help us navigate. I actually want to hold on to this rect, I think, here. I think I decided. So what I don't like is having to keep the component around and ask that for things. Not much. What's up here? Oh, we got kind of lost trying to implement like a generic like interface based like bit field thing, and we're just kind of going back to hard coding it. I wanted to be able to handle bit masks of different sizes, but right now 64 works for us, and so we're gonna stick to that. All right, so when we do stuff like this, so this stuff is not going to, so let's get rid of all the stuff that says T. I don't know why I have all these try-gets and garbage. So I already gutted this one. So actually, do we look at this one? Because honestly, could I get... So let's hold on a second. So if I have... So I've got my bitmask 3D, which takes its span stuff from its buffer 2D component. And it's just an iBuffer 2D component of bitfield 64. So I could actually, if I wanted to operate on this as a buffer 2D, as just a buffer 2D read-only or read-write, as like these versions of it, the simpler versions of it, and I wanted to operate on whole bit fields, I could just do that. So I should specifically be saving this bitmask 3D read-write thing, the bitmask 3D version. That's just another aspect of it. So I'm actually going to... I actually like this version that's like trimmed down. We're going to go with that. So this is stuff that we get to do when we know that it's a bit field. And we're just going to hard code it. In which case, do we need to know this? I guess we do. So here we've got like span, rect. So here we can just say this point of the span is this point of the span with setting this index. And if we do that, if we go look at that, that's you take the index, you take the existing flags, and you add this index. Beautiful. Yeah, the bit fields, these have a lot of nice utility. They have maybe some inconsistent behavior, but we've got all our has any, has only. This is what we like. We like this one. I like this implementation. Thought process makes sense. That can't be. You can't be talking about me. You can't be saying that in response to something I said. That's crazy. Am I still trying to drink my coffee? Instinct. Desperation. Somewhere between desperation and instinct. We gotta drink water sometime. Thanks, Nix. Thanks for the hydrate. Appreciate you. Nope, ads starting in a minute. Over on Twitch. All right, so this all works now, yeah? So this, oh, I need to do it. I need to do the assignment. I keep forgetting to do the assignment part. Okay, I think this will work. Okay, this clear, span dot clear thing is a little scary, but I think that's what we want. You're drinking cider now, Nix? Ooh, nice, nice. Cider's good. I do like me a cider. My problem is I drink a cider and it's usually got too much sugar in it. So I get like physically ill after like the second one. There's some good ciders, like dry ciders that aren't very sweet, but I'm not a big drinker, so I manage. I've got a lot of issues, but that's not one of them. Man, we never use this length function, huh? I guess that's good. All right, so we'll copy this implementation over to the read-only one. The read-only one is just going to be missing the set commands. We're going to forget all this try whatever bull BS. We're going to only have stuff that is useful for the task at hand. So this span becomes read-only span. That's one change. The other change is just that we flip these a little bit. Actually, I'm going to flip it like this. I tried to write buffer and I wrote biffer. Rip. My typing accuracy is low. My typing speed is okay, but man, my accuracy is low. Okay, so that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. So all we've really got is get, huh? Read only is pretty simple. So we never make these using just a component. We always pass in an ID and a bounding box. That seems like a problem, actually, now that I'm thinking about how this works. I don't know if I can allow this because we'll miss out on the... Actually, you know what? The rectangle. Here. I know how to do this. So the rect is actually just... Can I... Is there a conversion from AABB into rect? I mean, if there is, I should just do it once, right? So we could just say rect equals rect AABB. Same thing here. Okay, that will allow this to work. Otherwise, I would have a problem. And then I got to do that over here as well. I mean, I guess I don't have to do that here. I can just do this. You know what totally doesn't make sense? I see some internal versus external coordinate thing problem down the line. But I'm going to do good. I'm not going to worry about down the line problems right now. There we go. Hey, I'm Darius. You know any color palette app or site that has or can generate a pretty big color palette? You don't want to use AI and search engines seem to suck. Yeah, low spec. Nanon's got it. Low spec, the low spec palettes, especially if you're talking about, I don't know how big a palette you need, but just lowspec.com. LOSPEC. They have so many palettes and they can be pretty big. Max. Actually, I don't need max. Sort by min. Let's say min. Let's say at least 128 or something. I don't know. But yeah, there's 50 palettes that are 128 colors or more, which is a lot. There's a couple big palettes I actually like in the world of big palettes. I think Dual is pretty cool. It's a little too... I don't know. I actually don't know if it has a problem. It's very linear. And it's got discrete... Every single color ramp is like discrete and self-contained. So that one's nice. Dual is nice. I agonize over palettes all day. I've made my own. And I have regrets about it. I have regrets about it. I'm actually like kind of tempted to go back to something like this. Doesn't have quite as many nice bright reds as I would like. But you know what? Might actually be kind of okay for sci-fi. I watch a lot of TNG. I feel like the pastels are affecting me. Like this is our style guide here uses like every single of my original 4 ramps or whatever. I had like a red ramp, a blue ramp, a green ramp, and like a purple ramp. And we're using all of them in this image. And I'm like, I don't know how much more variety I've got. I've tried some experiments. Do I have something about my file, my palette experiments? What would that even be called? Bridge mockup pixel maybe. Yeah, I tried some like other versions of it. So this is like the high-low expanded. This is like our original. I like this. I like Zenith 241. I like that. That's a nice palette. I would consider using that palette. There's the AAP Radiant Plus. It's a little too high saturation for me. I like this one, the hot highlights, cold shadows, but I also think this isn't really for us. I like bits and pieces of all of these. I could probably see myself using this palette, the Zenith 241. What happened to my low spec page, you know? Palette. I don't want to search by tag. I just wanted to see the Zenith one. Oh, search by name. Zenith 241. I like this palette. I think if I was tempted to use a third-party palette, it would be this one. This one is just all over the place. It's got a very good representation, in my opinion. I like everyone who's like, can we just get an FFFFF? Can we just get like a solid red or whatever? Yeah, it's like, oh, there's no one included that. It's like, can't you just add that color if you want a solid red? Couldn't you just add a solid red? People are so funny. They're so funny. It's only 241 colors. It's like you got room there for some custom colors. Hot highlight is red alert. Yeah, it really is. I love the look on the machines in the back. I thought that translated rather well. Everything else kind of is not good, in my opinion. I mean, it's not that the palette is bad. Maybe my use of the palette is bad. Is this my palette? High-low expanded. Yeah, this is my palette. So this is like, these are the new color ramps I've made for my palette. So I made like, I tried to do like a kind of a CMY kind of alternative palette. Actually, I didn't, did I? I did something else. But yeah, I have a new purple ramp. I have like this kind of fleshy tone ramp. I have this kind of awkward green ramp now, and I have like a cyan ramp. These are kind of bad. Like, what's the difference between these three colors? I don't like ramps. I'm very quickly realizing that I should not be using my own color ramps. I think I'm gonna pick a external palette, honestly. Change palettes based on environment. Yeah, we would ramp it, no Jewel, yeah. I mean, there will be some amount of post-processing that like manipulates the color, but like for the static art pieces I make, I don't know. I do need to think about doing, there's someone who put a really good video out about, it's about like UV mapping your pixel art so that you can have like one set of animations and you can define different color sets. You can see almost any version of the bridge being used depending on what vibe you want the game to have. And that's the trick, isn't it? That's the trick, isn't it, Darius? This is kind of probably more what we're going for at first glance. Is this more Star Trek style? But I don't know, because the first few ships we're designing are more like Firefly. And Firefly wants to have like warmer, muddier colors in my mind. Like a Firefly ship wants to feel kind of run down, maybe a little rusted, but also kind of lived in. Whereas like a ship like this, like a Star Trek style ship, can be colder. But it can also be like friendly in that like they use these like weird pastel colors or something. It needs to feel cooler and more sterile. So I do think it's going to be a huge impact on the actual feeling. And different ships will want different ones. So maybe the lesson is I don't want to have one color palette. Maybe I want to think about having different color palettes for different like factions, or I don't know. But you want them to like, you want the colors to like kind of match together. So I don't know. Who knows? Modders will have their whole own opinion about all that stuff, and it won't matter. So what I shouldn't be is like a purist about it. The only thing I need to not do. Voidblade, you like the purple linoleum? How's it going, Voidblade? Yeah, I do too. I actually like I got lucky where the dark purple is a really nice background, and the light purple ends up being this nice raised bridge style area. Even though it's not really raised, it's like such a subtle raise. We're gonna have much more steep raised platforms with the new block size. How's it going, Voidblade? I didn't see you at first. I mean, I saw you, but you had the same color as Nyx. There's so many colors for chat users. It's so funny when like you have like 5 people in chat and like 2 or 3 of them all have the same color. Nanigans. Other thing that you like to do is toss together a mood board of other games, media that have a color feel that you like. Then it can give you an idea of what you need and how to balance them. Yeah, that's tough for me. What I need to do is I need to have something. I need to knock it all out at once, which is why I look at those big palettes, like the big like 256 color palettes, or you know, the Zenith 241 or something. I look at big palettes because I want it to be self-contained, because I just want to solve the issue and move on. We've gotten better about using more constrained palettes in jams. I really like doing that because it's the opposite of what I have to do here. I really like picking like a small, like an 8 to 16 color palette. and just do that for the whole jam. Like bare necessities is like, I think it's a 16 color palette. We don't even use the whole thing. There are like 5 colors. There's like 5 username colors. I know, isn't that kind of incredible? You'd think there would be more than that. All right, I guess I should get back to trying to do what I'm trying to do, which is restore some functionality using this bit mask thing. And so is this done now? It's essentially done. Yeah, I think these are done. So what I need to do here is where I actually want to use them. So bitmask read only. So this T stuff is going away. You can put the T back. There's no T to spill here. Maybe I spilled it earlier. These are going to be called bitmasks. They're bitmask read onlys here. So here, instead of this construct, we'll just say if not block halls. What did I? Is this get or has? Who cares? God, get. Like if you couldn't get this, well, I guess that's misleading. Like maybe it should be has. I think a lot of times people, if they're checking a bit value, they'll use check. If not this dot check this, but I think has is better. I like has. So maybe I'm going to rewrite this to say has instead of get. In which case I can move it down here. Nix, I hate to break it to you, but your color for me is like a teal that's a little too green. Actually, maybe it's just straight up teal. It's tealish. So I don't know. I hate to break it to you, but I've never seen your username with a non-teal color, let alone cyan or whatever you think you are. Funny. All right, so we don't do this has, we don't do this get has. Okay, so we split it up here. We can just say X cell. All right, well, I'm pleased with this simplification. This is good stuff. Now we can interact with these bit masks as if they're these 3D volumes and we don't have to understand anything about their underlying implementation. To be able to do that, to be able to reason about them in 3D. It's cornflower blue, void blit. It's funny. Are the colors different based on the perspective? Yes, because when I reload Twitch, the colors change. I think you can set a preferred color, which it gives you if it's like from at least your perspective, but I don't know if it respects that color choice for like other people, like when other people look at you. I think it tries because usually you all are a similar color over time, but I don't know. I don't know how Twitch works. I don't know if anyone does. Okay, that all works. I was looking at, the reason I dove into this is that I was looking at an area of the code that won't work otherwise. So what's the problem here now? Bitmask 3D read-only block halls. Oh, are we actually setting things? No, we're reading. We're just reading. Bitmask 3D read only, bitmask 3D read only. What's the problem? What's up? Oh, I actually have this set to be a buffer 2D read write. Buffer 3D. No, not buffer 3D. Bitmask 3D read only. You don't need to tell it what it is, which is a failing of the system. Can I just get the same component, this block hall buffer 2D? Do I want to call it something else? I'm going to call it this for now. I'm not going to change the component name. Because the component doesn't really know. It actually doesn't have an opinion. And doesn't know that it's a bit. Well, this one does. This knows it's a bit field. Maybe I could change the name. Block hall bitmask 3D. Oh, a nice new color, Jacob. Yeah, that is a very, that's like the Olo green. And again, you're aiming to have a shared color palette for your characters, then a separate one for each individual environment. Well, that's nice. Yeah, I really need to implement that UV thing. So like I can change the coloring of characters or something. I don't know, maybe I won't do that. But I would like to. That would be a neat way to do it. All right, did I successfully refactor this? I think I did. Okay, and then these add canvas draws. This is a bitmask 3D read only. That other color was cadet blue. That is not very blue. I'll tell you right now that that feels like a not terribly blue color. How does this work? Man, I changed all of this and now I have to change it back. Okay. And against TLDR, there are many different things that decide username colors on Twitch. Depends on roles, people are subscribed, have custom settings enabled, streamer allows it. Yeah, it's too complicated for me to try to understand. So this needs to be whole-key.xyz. Let's try not to swizzle that, or whatever they call it. Plus vector3i.x. I regret doing this. I think I can fix this, though, in a relatively brief amount of time. So this is whole-key.xyz minus vector3i.x plus vector3i.z. And it's not get, it's has. There's like no safety checks in this right now, which is not great, but we'll find out if that's a problem. Minus vector3i.y plus vector3i.z. Hey, full box. You're relatively brief. I try to be. Aren't we all? in the grand scheme of things. It's gonna be vector 3i dot xy. How's it going, Fullbox? I regret not leaving that as xy. But a flash of light in the cosmos. I know. Very poetical. Fastest refactor in the West. That's me over here. Okay, I did that. Now what? Block cuts. Oh. You're trying not to be overwhelmed by something that doesn't matter in the grand scheme of things, but that really stresses you out right now. Yeah, it's one of those, like, as I've heard, it's the straw that broke the camel's hat, you know? All right, what are you on? You got a show? I know you're trying not to stress out about it. I'm, like, catching up on chat. You got a show in 2 hours? Oh. I have the memory of a gopher, so I'm sorry if you've told me already what's going on. I don't want to denigrate gophers, though. They might have better memory than me, actually. You've been on a big Twitch channel over there to pitch your game. It's like a special event in Quebec. Oh, ooh. Or did I pronounce that wrong? Is it Quebec? Do we not say the U? That's awesome. Yeah, what are you doing here? Trying to relax? I'm sorry. That's not that's gonna be tough. I'm sure I'm not helping. That's awesome. I'm very excited. Man, this really shows the extent of the problem in terms of if I'm going to implement that flexible bit mask thing. It is going to get confusing. All right, block cuts, hall key.xy plus y has z. XYZ. Why doesn't this work? Block cuts. Oh, you know what? Block cut. Hold on. This is a bitmask 3D read only. That's what it says. It's like filmed in a studio. Oh my lord. Did the technical practice yesterday where they told you where to stand and all? Oh yeah, the rehearsal. You had your rehearsal already. No, you're gonna do great. I'm very excited. Your game is so polished and it has so much juice in it. We'll get to say that we knew Foolbox back before he was famous. Before he's forgotten the little people. When the fool's box. You won't change though, but the box you're in will change. Your box might get so big you get lost in it. A gold-plated box would also be a nice touch. Everyone says they won't change, and then they're like, you know what I'm gonna do today? I'm gonna go for a swim in my vault of gold coins. I'm trying to be so careful not to mess up this refactor. Moving all these little vectors around. I also think some of the corner logic in here is wrong. It's been kind of looking wrong when I've been looking at it, and that's a little concerning. But I really don't like digging into this stuff. We're gonna not worry about that right now, you know? Rallying cry here. Cool box. That's Full Box's evil twin. Cool box. What did I do with the... I did something with the... What do you want? You just want a comma? I can do that. Let's just say tags. Because I don't use it for anything. Your box is already cool. Yeah, of course. No one would dare to say otherwise. All right, now I don't know who anyone is anymore. Everyone's been changing their name colors. It's funny how much one uses that for shorthand sometimes. Okay, this is 2i, so this is 1. It's going to be 3i xy minus vector 3i dot z. There we go. There we go. Okay. Okay. Edge. All right. Did I do it for this system at least? I think the answer is yes. However, there are other systems that interface with these. Man. At iBit field. I don't know how to crack that. I gotta do some research, some reading. How to make that generic. We do some tricks for the component data about that with the generics, where we're able to store data of whatever size, like in the together with the in all the component data in the chunks. And Arneo, you can see the YouTube channel now. Hey folks, welcome to the Coolbox Toolbox. Where we turn dreams into games. Yeah, sounds good. Yeah. Tool Time is hosted by Foolbox. Let's get that going. Let's get a podcast going where we all just talk about all the tools that we make for our games and not the games. Discussion of games would be forbidden. It would be only tools. We can even call the podcast Only Tools. He says very seriously. You'll be on the podcast. Invite you on. Yeah, thanks. All right, for the inaugural episode of Toolbox, featuring Foolbox and his cool box. Your box is pretty cool, and I would argue it's like a streaming tool thing, but yeah, you could talk about how you made a whole game out of like control nodes. I hope you had tooling for that. All we need is a crypto AI scam sponsor, and we can build tools forever. That's true. That's true. I just needed a funder that does not think too closely about what we're doing here. So this is not running, so I'm gonna ignore this for now. This is running, and I hate this so much. I hate our sculpting tool system. Speaking of tools, this is so slapdash. All right, let's change this. At least there's only a few of these functions now. There's only 3.
Rather, it's about tending to the broken parts.
It's a bit mask. God, this guy always got to talk in these songs.
We create things as a reflection of this struggle to study our perception of self.
Okay, we're not going to get the index because we actually don't have that functionality. Instead, what we're going to say is bitfield64 value equals. Oh yeah, man, we need to know about this stuff. This is awful. We'll say bitmask. We can't say get. We could say span.
This all comes from an understanding that ideas aren't static.
Oh, this is fun. We're kind of doing it this way.
Like water.
Say bitmask set. Oh, this is for the buffer method. So this is a functionality that's meant to work on the buffer at the buffer level, which is good. But we're gonna rewrite this to be different. I'm just gonna say bitmask.set. We won't say index. What we'll do is we'll say coordinates. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say erase bitmask.clear coordinates bitmask.set. Actually, what we're gonna do is we're gonna say bitmask okay, the right stuff is different. So here we need to say no, bitmask.set. Oh. No, this is right. This is right. I'm pretty sure. Will you not let me do this? Man. Gonna make me do this as an if-else statement. Maybe I should just have a set and you can set true or false instead of having a separate clear. I'm running into issues with that, and there's really no reason for this to be complicated. Why has it got to be like this? Value.has. So what are we going to... Oh, we want to store the current value, huh? So we actually got to do that first. Have you submitted any themes to the DigiJam? No, I forgot. I forgot. We got to do that. Maybe we'll do that tomorrow. Maybe that'd be a fun thing to do on stream. Come up with a couple of themes to submit. I'm allowed to submit 2 themes. All right, if arrays bitmask.clear, else bitmask.set. I guess that's fine. And then for reveal, I'm going to rewrite this differently too. Hey, Marticus, how's it going? It's good. We're rallying and getting some level of productivity here. We went on kind of a fool's errand earlier today. But we're doing all right. We're doing all right. So what do we want to do? Do we want to actually store this has haul value? Hidden blocks try get value has haul. Okay, so we have that bool. What we want to do then is we want to say if has haul. Why can I never get, like, when I'm in C#, I always forget to add the parentheses, and then whenever I'm in GDScript, I'm always adding parentheses. I can't win. We're gonna say bitmask.set coords. This is simple. This is a lot simpler than whatever this nonsense is down here that I had to figure out. I'll say else bitmask.clear coords. You're good. You're fixing some tightly coupled stuff in your code base. It's becoming a mess again. Yeah, we tried to remove the restriction of using bitfield 64s everywhere so that we could resize stuff, and man, that was hard to make generic. And I just gave up on that for now. All right, what is our problem here? Theme elimination is tomorrow. Wait. Oh, do I not have time? Do I have to do the down to jam theme suggestions now? Oh, shoot. Theme elimination is tomorrow. And that's probably not Pacific time, is it? Okay. I guess I'm doing this today. Is that just how we should end the stream? Just do a quick theme submission. Sorry to T-Rail. It's fine. I don't have any ideas. What are some good ideas? Are these read right? They read right, yeah. Jam theme storm? Yeah, we need to right now. I need to submit 2 theme suggestions. I don't have any. You're allowed 2 pieces of information. There's the theme idea that people would build their games around, and there's also a clarification that's optional, where you can explain if it's unclear or whatever. I would want to submit a theme that required no clarification. That already is like a requirement for me, because I like ambiguity. I don't have any ideas though. But I always complain about the options. And I never submit themes, so I should do better. All right, did we fix this? Is this fixed now? At least this part? What else might have a problem with this? I don't know. Let's run. Let's run it. Let's see where we're at, and then we'll try to think of some jam stuff. Perpetual soup might be kind of a weird theme. That could be fun. That could be fun. I feel like that one needs clarification. All right, does this work? Okay, it works. All right, the bit mask works, which is good. This is like the prerequisite to like, well, maybe it wasn't a prerequisite. This was kind of unnecessary. I think there's a reason we need it to work this way and to be able to handle the 3D field thing. And I think it's the flood fill system. So I think we'll figure that out more when we take another look at that. But yeah, this seems to be working okay. That was weird. Why is it extending like that? You know what I'm missing is like Control Z. You don't know what the clarification would be either. Me either. I also don't have any ideas. I feel like part of the reason of suggesting a theme would be like having some kind of idea. Man, yeah, some of this corner stuff is bad. There's a corner case that's failing in the auto tiler and looking weird. It's 2 corner cases, actually. I don't know why they're behaving weirdly. I have to look at that. I probably messed up something a while ago. Forgot I could manually scroll the Z level up. All right, things are looking okay here in voxel building land. So I think we're good. Yeah, I don't have any ideas. I think I need to think about it for the rest of the day. Try to suggest some themes. I'll try to suggest some serious ones. If Perpetual Soup ends up on the list, you'll know that I failed. And that I didn't think of anything good. Yeah, I think it's about wrap-up time here. We had a good stream. We had pretty much a full-length stream here. Hi, everyone on YouTube. Hope you going out. I hope today was all right. I hope your co-working time was productive if you were trying to be productive. And if you weren't trying to be productive, I hope your time with us here was relaxing. As relaxing as possible. Yeah, Perpetual Soup would need like a link to the Wikipedia page on it. That's probably what I would do. I'll try to come up with at least one serious suggestion. I like stuff that's more systematic. I like stuff that gives us an idea of like something kind of simulation-y. I know I shouldn't want to do that in a 3-day stream, but I like stuff that lets us do our, isometric 2D strategy kind of stuff. Because apparently I can only make isometric games when I'm making my own art. Everything is isometric 2D. I'm like kind of broken. But we actually have some stuff from Bare Necessities that I can reuse that I split off into a plugin for code. For like having I gotta refine it a little bit, but it's a system that lets us use tilemap as like an authoritative source for like gameplay stuff, which is fun. So it makes it really easy to like have stuff that propagates and like moves through the tile space in like gameplay logic. And it can be separate from the rendering thing. The rendering can be handled separately. Kind of neat. I knew I would use it again, so I was like, let's spin it out. We can look at that. We probably should look at that before the jam. Make sure we actually remember how that works. Totally accurate soup simulation. Now that's a game idea. That's an idea. All right, I gotta go get some laundry going, as usual. I gotta go make my after stream trip to the laundromat. It's been raining a lot, so the laundry has had to wait. But it's clear skies today, so good luck to me fighting for the machine, the laundry machines. Yeah, we'll be back tomorrow. We will stream tomorrow. We are streaming tomorrow, I promise. But nothing, no Saturday stream, no Tuesday stream, because I'm going on vacation. Little vacation. I really need it. Bye. Thanks for the stream. Thank you. Yes, we are streaming tomorrow. Fullbox. Maybe we'll watch your thing. What's the channel that this event is on? I want to watch it. Yeah, I will be streaming tomorrow. Yeah, Fullbox. No, not the event tomorrow. What's the channel for this event you're doing in like an hour? Or is it being taped and then shown later? Loto, Quebec. All right, well, I'll manage. I'll manage. Oh, thank you. Thank you for hitting me with the search term. All right, I'm gonna watch that. I'm very excited. I'll watch that while I get back to work. Oh, thank you for the channel. Thank you for the link. I'll pop that over into the Twitch chat. If anyone wants to watch that, that looks good. That looks fun. I love seeing regional and local game dev content stuff. It's always very cool. It's usually one of the more interesting things at like GDC or whatever, is seeing all these regional stuff. You can be like, this guy has a cool box in chat. Oh, we're gonna get timed out in chat. 8 p.m. Eastern. Thank you. All right. That's 5 o'clock for me. All right. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I hope you have a great rest of your day. Good luck, Fullbox. And we'll see you all tomorrow. Bye.
Maximum warp.